The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Kiwi.
All right, well, screening at the New Zealand International Film Festival is a silent film called Under the Southern Cross. It was made in 1928, 1929, but it wasn't made here in it was made here in New Zealand, but it wasn't made by a New Zealander. In fact, it was made by Hollywood's Universal Studios, and it wasn't without its difficulties at the time. In fact, they shot 28,000 feet of film for a feature that was only meant to be 6,500 feet, and then it wasn't really kind of finished. And then there was a bit of controversy. Well, since then, a bit of controversy about it. Was it exploitation? Well, I don't know. There was, of course, a soundtrack made for it at the time, but it's now been reinterpreted by a bunch of New Zealand musicians, one of them being Warren Maxwell, of course, from Trinity Roots, Little Bushman fame, and he joins us on the line. Hello to you, Warren.
Hey, Wammo, how are you, mate?
Very well. How did you get involved in this project?
It was actually Himiona Grace, who works at the Film Archive there, and he's also a musician himself, and I think they decided last year to get this film out into the public, and it was just a concept of theirs to do something a little bit different apart from your sort of cliche stride pianist, playing along to the Charlie Chaplin style thing, So and he called me up, and Maka McGregor, who's a phenomenal percussionist, drummer, producer. So the three of us got together and we watched it through, and came up with a few ideas. But I think the main idea was or the main concern was to still respect the movie, but bring it into this millennium musically.
What was your initial impression after watching it the first time?
I was just cracking up all the way through it, actually. It was, it's a classic kind of love triangle story. But, I don't know, it was just, there's something really humorous and comical about, I think it's what you get when you watch any of those old black and whites, like the actual film speed. Everything looks like it's in fast motion, and, you're getting these actors doing kapahaka, and they all look like this sort of ADHD sort of thing, and it's like the kapahaka is very different to what we see today.
Right, yeah.
It's actually quite loose and informal. This would have been after World War One, so it's kind of refreshing to see a little bit of fun and gaiety, as they term it back then.
Yeah, and exactly, and of course the focus of the film is on a few Māori people who are characters acting as though they were living in the 1800s, 1700s. Yeah. So, sort of back when the noble savage kind of days. Yeah. So what do you make of the fact that maybe it was a little bit exploitative at the time?
Yeah, it is. But I think, these days, we kind of know that there was that kind of exploitation going on all around the world. These big film producers would just go out to any sort of indigenous nation and go, oh, let's go and film some natives, and and you can kind of get that from it. I guess the thing is to take that tongue in cheek with a grain of salt, and just I didn't get too offended when I saw it. It's like, oh well, that happened,
Yeah, the piece of footage that I'm looking at now is down in the Waitomo Caves, and in fact, I recognise it from visiting the Waitomo Caves last year, and it's kind of extraordinary what they were able to do in those caves back then, which you can't do now. You can't clamber over all the stalagmites and stalactites and formations and things. You can't just go anywhere.
Yeah. I think that happened quite a bit all over the place as well.
Yeah.
Just desecrating sacred places. And, let's go film in a graveyard, or let's go and, do a dance on that fella's grave. That was pretty rife back then.
Yeah. So how do you interpret it now with music?
Well, that's the thing. I think that's my forte. What I love about music is how, it's an emotional craft, I suppose. So I think the biggest challenge was to compose these pieces, but not to be blatantly obvious, and manipulate the audience in one certain direction.
Yeah.
So you've got to, you've got to leave the interpretation kind of open enough so the audience, they have their own individual experience, rather than, being really obvious. Like, for example, battle scenes, your obvious thing is to just whack on drums for ages and get the heartbeat cranking. But we thought we'd try and go the other way, and I won't give too much away, but that was part of the fun. That was actually, part of the challenge to be not so obvious.
And so how many musicians on stage while the film is screening?
There's only 3 of us.
Okay.
But we're surrounded with percussion and synthesizers and guitars and, Roland space echo delays and all sorts of things.
Well, so it is an opportunity to basically explore and make whole new sounds from all sorts of crazy instruments in front of you.
Yeah. And putting them through various effects, which they wouldn't have had 100 years ago back in Charlie Chaplin days.
Is there any temptation to get on the keys and go ding 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 ding?
No. for one, I can't. My stride piano is shocking.
Right.
Unless a couple of shandies involved, maybe. But but no. I mean, that's just so cliche. It's not funny. I think my kudos would just dive bomb.
I'm sure the film archive would have said, "Oh, come on, we could have had the original soundtrack."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Just push a CD or something, put a CD on.
Yeah. Did you hear the original soundtrack at all? Does that exist anywhere?
No. I'm not even sure if there was.
Or maybe there wasn't one.
I don't know. I mean, that's the whole thing. They would have had maybe a score.
Yeah.
And they would have had, I'm generalising, but some lady from the local church playing some kind of quasi, I don't know, Shostakovich or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
No doubt. This is. I don't even know if this kind of thing has been done before. To have creative license like this. I know a group down here, CL Bob, did some live improvisation to a Len Lai.
I saw that. Yeah, that was scratching films.
Yeah,
yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah. Well, it's that kind of concept, but these are actually rehearsed, composed kind of pieces. With a little bit of improvisation going on. Bit of Pink Floyd influence in there, my friend.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, it is happening in Auckland City under the Southern Cross on Saturday night, Sky City Theatre. Go along to nzff.co.nz for all the details and book tickets and whatnot as well. Warren Maxwell, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And we'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, let's do it.
Warren Maxwell from Trinity Roots and Little Bushman fame.